And I'm Ashley.
And we are your well-informed girlfriends.
So today we're bringing you today's news, gossip, and very unsolicited hot takes.
This week we're talking so many things. First of all, the so-called Big Beautiful Bill that was just signed into law, the big Texas flood that just happened, and the latest updates on P Diddy.
Yeah, we're also going to be chatting about a new dating term called cookie jarring. I identify, so we will get there when we get to it. We're also talking finances with a new partner, and a new form of life might have been discovered after death.
Whoa.
Okay.
That's crazy. All that and so much more on this week's episode of Well-Informed Girlfriends. Oh, and if you could like and subscribe, that would be
all
so
those
helpful.
Things.
We would love it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and we should probably address the elephant in
the room.
I'm
not Sam.
Sam is out of town,
yes.
So we were lucky enough for Ashley to step in today, and we know each other from Mizzou.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we both went to the same college, and then still doing news-like things. I told you on the way in today, I haven't been like a news girl like this in a very long time. I'm excited.
And today's the day.
Yes,
we're getting you behind the mic and in front of the camera. Yeah. This is exciting.
It's oddly comfortable.
Yeah. It's where you should be. Okay, so first things first, we're going to do kind of our hard topics up front, and then we're going to get into cookie jarring. Which is like what we really want to discuss. So we have to mention the Big Beautiful Bill that was signed into law July 4th, a sweeping tax and spending reconciliation package. It was coined the Big Beautiful Bill Act, and it was signed into law, as we mentioned, 4th of July, picnic at the White House. Mm-hmm. Total impact includes $3 trillion in tax cuts and spending changes over the next decade. Here's the TLDR. Mm-hmm. Okay, here's what's in it. And there's a lot in it. It's really hard to like totally talk about everything, but here's like the top line. It introduces tax breaks on tips and overtime, new child credit deductions, and expanded SALT cap, capped temporarily at $40,000. It also includes $1.5 trillion in cuts to Medicaid and SNAP benefits with added work requirements, so that could make things tricky for people. It also phases out clean energy tax credits. It allocates about $150 billion to defense, including that Golden Dome missile defense thing that's happening. It also adds $170 billion for border security and ICE. So it's a lot of changes.
Yeah.
But one of the main things people are talking about is that 10 to 12 million Americans could be losing their health benefits and health insurance by 2034 due to Medicaid reductions. So public opinion polls are showing that the majority of people are disapproving this. 49% to 64% are opposing this, with 29% in favor. So there's a lot going on, lots of changes happening soon. Ugh.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I mean, the way I've been explaining it to people is like, if you voted opposite this side of the aisle, like everything that you're used to with Joe Biden is getting its funding taken or drawn back very much. And then everything that Trump talked about in his campaign, things that were discussed in, what was the big plan called? Project what?
Oh, 2025.
Project 2025. Yeah. Like those things are now being funded and elevated. So that's kind of like when people are like, I don't get it. It's like, that's basically the split that I'm noticing and reading through it.
Right. Totally.
And why a lot of people are worried, because if you don't have a lot of money and aren't rich, then like the things that are supporting you, you're losing out on. So that's kind of how it looks to me. We'll see how it actually is executed and plays out, but that's at least how the bill reads.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And there's so much in there that like people aren't even totally talking about, like the AI regulation.
Right.
Like there's not a lot of regulation on AI. Mm-hmm. It's like kind of crazy. And in a time where things are changing so rapidly, it's like, oh my gosh, I guess we'll just have to see what happens.
And July 4th, no less. That was obviously a message in its own to do something like that in a holiday, because usually you wouldn't.
Totally.
Yeah.
So. No, absolutely. Okay, now we would be remiss if we didn't mention this huge Texas flash flood that occurred over the weekend. So what is happening in Central Texas? There were torrential rains that happened in Caryville and Hill County, over 10 inches in under an hour, sending the Guadalupe River surging more than 25 feet, smashing its banks in minutes. So at this time, this is Sunday morning, at least 67 people have died in connection with the flash floods. The toll includes at least 21 children in Kerr County, where 11 girls and one counselor are still missing from Camp Mystic. That is one of the camps that people are talking about. a lot this morning. Search and rescue efforts are still continuing. Now, I don't know if you've seen these videos, but like the destruction is crazy. Yeah. Like it goes miles. So I think that we'll probably still be seeing for the next few days, people are discovering. And I think another thing too that makes this difficult is this happened over 4th of July weekend. So there were a lot of people there that were visiting or on vacation or there to celebrate the 4th. And so we don't even know everybody who's missing at this point. So really, really crazy. FEMA has been activated in Texas after President Donald Trump signed a major disaster declaration for the state. And the National Weather Service is kind of under a lot of heat this morning because obviously the National Weather Service, as well as National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration earlier this year, had a lot of cuts. Yep. As a result of the DOGE cuts. So earlier this year, Representative Jared Huffman, a California Democrat, described those specific cuts as placing public safety at risk by diminishing weather forecasting capability and capacity. So we do know that there were some warnings that were given out on, what was that, Friday night? But it was like really late into the night. It was like midnight. And then at 4 a.m., there was like this absolute emergency declaration. And so at 4 a.m., you know, a lot of people are probably sleeping and like really not totally aware. Yeah. And like there were some stories of people who just woke up to these rushing waters, like right outside their door. And at that point, their cars were gone. Yeah. Their cars had been swept away. So the only thing they could do was like try to get to the highest level of where they were. Yeah. So I saw some videos of people that were in an Airbnb and they're like, we just got to the roof as quickly as we could. Because like, what are we going to do? And especially if you're in a place that you don't even know, you know, if this isn't even a town, where do you go? So very, very scary. And I hope that, you know, this sparks a few discussions about what we can do with the National Weather Service, because I feel like that's crazy. Like in 2025 that we didn't realize that this could happen so quickly. Yeah. I mean, that has been the reaction I've seen on social media is like, this is people not being able to know what's going on is because we rely on the National Weather Service. We rely on NOAA to send those notifications in advance, which is possible. So it's frustrating that couldn't happen, but we knew these cuts happened. And like you were saying, lawmakers screamed from the rooftops that like, this is something that could happen as a result. So that's incredibly, I don't even think frustrating covers it, but it's frustrating to see that happen when like it was completely predictable. No, 100%. Yeah. It's upsetting. And I think over the next few days, we'll start to see hopefully some clarity around the situation. And hopefully, I mean, it's been like a day and a half now. So hopefully there's still some survivors and people that we can find. Like I know if you can like hold on to something for long extended periods of time, or maybe you ended up somewhere that you don't have your cell phone or you're not there's no cell service. I know that's been a problem too. So who knows, but it's really scary and sad. And hopefully we learn a lesson from this. Yeah. I've seen lots of families like reconnecting with their loved ones at like schools and, you know, like obviously everything's very organized in disaster zones like that. So we're just hoping to see more of those like reunions and families being reconnected, hopefully. Yeah. Okay. Now we have to talk about, oh my goodness, P Diddy. I cannot believe this is all over. Like I really thought we were going to get I thought we were going to get more groundbreaking things. But anyways, you get into it. You're the expert on the P Diddy story. It felt like a Lifetime movie, but I'll do this first and then we'll talk about it. Okay. So the major update is that, of course, we've heard from the jury at this point. After 6 weeks of intense courtroom drama, the jury came back with a mixed verdict. So there was a guilty verdict on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, but he was acquitted on the on some serious charges, racketeering and sex trafficking by force. So that's what a lot of people were paying attention to, fraud or coercion. And they're still deadlocked on the racketeering conspiracy count, or they were deadlocked on it prior. Yeah. So what does this mean for Diddy? He's getting convicted on the prostitution counts. So he's looking at some prison time up to 10 years per count, which there were 2 counts of those. But the big racketeering and trafficking charges, the ones that could have put him behind bars for life, they're off the table and he doesn't have to worry about those. So legal analysts, they were skeptical that those heavy charges would stick anyway. It was never like, we know for sure that this is what's going to happen, because there's such a high bar to prove coercion under federal law. But still, transporting for prostitution is serious, and he's going to remain detained while sentencing is pending and bail is off the table, which they're still expected to keep going back and forth about that, because obviously Diddy's going to fight to be out for as long as possible. Yeah. But I'm not expected to go anywhere. So let's remember what this trial exposed. There were 34 witnesses, including his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, and an anonymous Jane Doe,
who shared harrowing accounts of allegations, drug-fueled freak-offs, physical abuse, threats, and emotional coercion. The prosecution based its case on a decades-long pattern. The defense, for its part, argued everything was consensual, that there were part of legal swinger lifestyle, but they didn't call any witnesses, they just cross-examined, which was criticized. And there's still that one count unresolved. The jury is hung up. Prosecutors requested an Allen or dynamite charge to push for a unanimous verdict, but no resolution yet. So Diddy walks away legally damaged but not destroyed. He's been found guilty on lesser counts, cleared of the worst, and may avoid retrial. Okay, so, and like, it's just crazy because I feel like this has been a part of people's everyday lives, like wanting to get updates, and like now everyone's like a legal analyst, which like I'm also going to pretend to be one right now too, to like talk about what I at least understand happened. Yeah. But like when you heard it, what did you think? Because I feel like we thought it would be like open and shut, and that wasn't the case at all.
Yeah, no. Well, also like I feel like, first of all, I thought we were going to get more groundbreaking information. Totally. You know, and like going into the trial was like, oh, everybody's going down. Mm-hmm. We're going to hear from people that we never thought we'd hear from. We were going to have witnesses and people. And I didn't really get the drama as much as I wanted it. Yeah. And the first few weeks were crazy. Yeah. The Cassie Ventura testimony, that was all insane and so sad and heartbreaking. And seeing his kids be involved, like that was like earth-shatteringly
his
sad.
Daughters being there, I couldn't believe. Like they kind of walked out looking a little traumatized. I would be too.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine? You can't ever forget that. No. Especially when it's like such a public forum as well. It's not even just like you in a courtroom with your dad. It's like the entire world is watching this. So that has to affect their entire life. But yeah, no, I thought it was just crazy. But also I was kind of like, that's it? That's how this ends?
Yeah.
Right? What 100%. Did you think?
So I had heard legal analysts talk about how like, please understand that this is not open and shut, that like it's not like we're going through a formality just to throw them away for life. Like the evidence isn't like completely clear. Yeah. And so I think the racketeering surprised me most because we heard so much about how this was like very organized and like other people were doing his dirty work so that he can technically keep his hands clean. But it turns out that racketeering was not he was not found guilty of it because they couldn't find that his organization, Bad Boy, the label, was like made for the purpose of doing illegal things, even though it's called Bad Boy. Like how bold of you, the audacity. But literally. Like, so it's like, they could prove that bad things were happening, but not that like everyone understood that working for Bad Boy meant you were going to do bad things, if that makes sense. Right. And so that's probably what that explanation is kind of what I needed to connect the dots on this. Cause I'm like, clearly everyone working for him had to do these things, but that doesn't mean they agreed to do it in order to work for him. So that was interesting to me. But, you know, I just wonder like from Cassie's perspective, like, he gets to walk free in 5 years, maybe. Like there hasn't been sentencing yet, but like the max I've heard is like anywhere from like 2 to 5 years total on this. There are a lot of things that go into account because they have to talk about, you know, the defense will say he's a good person and he's donated money to HBCUs and look at all these lives he's changed. And obviously like we've seen the terrible videos of like him being, you know, assaulting Cassie. And so it's like the prosecution will be like, this is a dangerous person and, you know, he shouldn't be outside. So I'm interested to see where it falls, but still like the things that we've seen and heard, like, I don't know that like a verdict can change that, like take it back out of like cultural conversations.
Absolutely. Well, I don't think he'll ever have a career. I don't think he'll ever have, you know, I feel like his reputation is absolutely ruined and tarnished and no one will want to work with him ever again. So that's one consequence. But but it is like such a bummer too. It's like these people put their like hearts on the line and we know Cassie has, you know, gotten some settlements and like she's okay.
Yeah, the civil, yeah.
Yeah, but like it is just like upsetting. Like I came out here, I put my like I gave you my most raw information and then like for this to just be the result is like so kind of upsetting. It's like I literally just like put all of this like information that I didn't really want to talk about. This is so traumatic. And then, you know, to this be the results, kind of like a little bit sad.
Which, by the way, not her choice. Like, people don't always understand the difference between civil and criminal. Like, for a criminal trial, like, she wasn't like, oh, I want to come. Like, it wasn't like a party that she, like, wanted to attend. Like, this was, the trial was going on by the government, and she had to. She was subpoenaed to show up. So, to do that, like you're saying, and then, like, for this to be the result, it just feels like it has to be devastating and violating in a way that now all of that's out there and for what.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. But it was interesting to watch it all unfold. Like I said, I really thought we were going to get more like... I mean there were something, there were some days that you're like, wait, whoa, like Kanye showed up to support, like, not surprising, but like what? And like there were some things that was like, okay, that's interesting, but what?
Because you even think like R. Kelly's trial, for example, got way more. Like there was just more hoopla and like, you know, and I don't know if it's a difference in how like both of their teams handled it also, or the difference in like this courtroom not being able to have cameras. And so we could only look at drawings of what was going on. So you never know like what people are going to really want to pay attention to. But I agree with you. Like the verdict was kind of like, and now it's over.
And it's like, over? Yeah. Okay. I guess I go back to my 9 to 5.
Yeah, literally.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm really excited to talk about this next. Because I think we're both victims of the cookie jar.
I learned about this because of you, though. But the concept I'm spiritually very aware of. Yes.
Okay, so there is a new dating term people are referring to as cookie jarring.
Mm-hmm.
So cookie jarring is when someone keeps a potential suitor in the back pocket as a safety net while exploring other dating potentials, but never really committing. So in other words, you're just one of many cookies in a big dating cookie jar.
Terrible.
Okay, so basically people are becoming flakier, less committed. There are some signs.
Please, paint them for us, please. Tell me. You're 10 years too late, but tell me.
Okay, there are some signs that you could be being cookie jarred, and they include the relationships feels really one-sided. Mm-hmm. So you're always the one texting, making the plans. Mm-hmm. That feels obvious. If the person you're dating rarely commits to plans and doesn't really want to discuss the future of your relationship, you could be in the cookie jar.
That's true, yes.
Extended response times when texting, never really feeling like a priority. Maybe they're not introducing you to anybody they know.
Yeah. Like, do you have friends? No, I don't.
Family?
Video games, that's it. What are you saying?
So you could be being cookie jarred or pocketed. What do you think about this?
Where do I begin? I'm going to have to be the grandmother that blames social media for this partially. I feel like, and I'm going to bash men for a second. Like, I know that there are other, like, dynamics out there and we respect everyone, but this is my experience.
Got it.
I feel like when you're on the internet and you see cute, successful, whatever, women all over the place, you think that you have access to all of them. So why would I ever commit to one? I might as well just like collect as many infinity stones and then
cookies in a jar.
Thank you. Yes. And then like, you know, whenever I'm feeling the need a snack, I'll just reach, you know, it's like, excuse me, like the men that like DM Rihanna and like you flip burgers, like give me a break, please. Do you know? But like they feel like because they can follow her and DM her that they have a chance. So why would I ever commit to Ashley in Los Angeles when like Rihanna might get back to me? Do you know what I'm saying?
Right. And that's a cookie in the jar.
That's ridiculous. And the fact that you think Rihanna's a cookie in your jar, get evaluated. Are you insane? Like, are we serious? You know?
It's so true.
It's so annoying.
I do feel like, I absolutely agree with you on that. And I think dating apps too, like, I feel like I talk about this a lot, but like the feeling that like if one thing goes wrong on this Hinge date with this Hingeman and like I have 14 other cookies in my cookie jar that I could reach out to later, you know, it's like, then I'm just going to drop this cookie.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know, put him in a cabinet for a little.
100%.
But, like, I do feel like, especially in big cities, people just have that tendency to, like, date a bunch of people at the same time. And then be like, oh, but, like, she's around. So, like, keeping people on the back burner or in the cookie jar. It's upsetting.
And, like, I have seen, like, mind you, they're on social media. Not saying that means you don't matter because we're probably on social media right now. But like, I have seen dating experts say that like you are supposed to date multiple people before you like commit to one. But like, I feel like dating and like allowing someone to entertain you are two different things.
Totally. No, I have a really hard time with this because I feel like I'm like, I don't know if it's my brain, but I can't date multiple people at one time.
I can't eat. That's why I just stay home. Like, because I'm the person that'll be like, oh, how was your sister's birthday? He's like, I don't have a sister. And I'm like, I can't do this. So I'm stressed. It's too much, you know?
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's one thing I do feel like about social media and dating apps that's hard. It's like you don't put time and effort and energy into something. So like, how do you ever build something?
Yes.
It just feels very surface level to the point where it's like, oh, like, you know, back in the day, like back in the 50s and 60s, like you were like stuck with this weirdo neighbor that you like
100%
didn't really like, but you just like figured it out because like that's what I guess like the institution of marriage is, and like being committed and like committing to somebody. Like, so in a way, like I feel like it's cool we have more options.
Yeah.
But also like I think there has to be some sort of middle ground where we at least commit for like 5 minutes. And like see if it could go somewhere.
Get to know their middle name.
Right?
Something.
Like anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's hilarious.
We all need therapy. That's the TLDR.
That's the TLDR. Like, let's just like do that and get those cookies baked. Bake a cookie for once.
Please narrow down the cookies in your jar for once. You might actually get to know her. You might like her. Cookie. She might be a good person for you.
She might be
You'll never know.
Cookie. Who knows? Okay.
We're the cookie. No, I'm kidding.
She might even be like gluten-free cookie.
That's like, what I'm saying. She might be like help your life. She might be healthy.
She might be like full of like a good macadamia nut or something. You don't know. You didn't even know you liked macadamia nuts.
That's what I'm saying. Got to know the macadamia.
Get to know the cookie for once. Yeah, seriously. Okay, this brings us to our next story, which is reverse catfishing. Okay, so reverse. I can't say it.
No, it's like how many woods could a woodchuck chuck?
Yes. Okay, so our next story is about reverse catfishing. So we all know about catfishing in the traditional sense. We all saw catfish on MTV. It blew our minds.
Yes.
Making yourself look better online than you probably do in person, or deceiving people about your entire identity. But there's a new type of catfishing happening now in dating called reverse catfishing. Reverse catfishing basically is underplaying your appeal. So from dressing down in profile pictures to skipping luxury mentions, flaunting like a very basic bio. It's kind of the art of playing it low key on purpose.
Okay.
So like trying to attract people for like who you are.
You know what? If he's putting me in that cookie jar, I'm going to be the most basic cookie he's ever met. You hear me? You're not locking up all my qualities.
No, chocolate chips.
No, I don't have macadamias. You will never know about that.
Okay, so this understated approach is reportedly gaining traction among millennials and Gen Z, especially those who have grown disillusioned by the swipe left culture that often rewards only surface level charm.
Yeah, sure.
So what do you think about this? Like, I always feel like I have to put my best foot forward on a dating app, but do you think that, like, I don't know how I would, like, that seems it's so opposite of what you want to do on a dating app, right?
When I first read this, I was like, who would do that? And I was like, well, I feel like I kind of do this in some ways. Like I have never had, for example, like my real job on my dating profile because men are weird about that. Like, oh, you should interview me. And
yeah,
like,
that's true.
Okay, like, who are you? You know? So like, and then like on my, you need an episode about men. I'll come here and fill an hour. Anyway,
absolutely.
And then I have also like on my Instagram, like I'll make sure I have pictures where I don't have any makeup on, like just to make sure that like if you ever wanted to wake up next to this, you know that it's not this, that like it's something else. Like I feel like in some ways I do it because I don't ever want to be the person where like you show up and you're like, oh, you look nothing like you did in your pictures. Like I'd be mortified, and I've seen that happen before. Yeah. But I feel like, and I've had friends who like, I do first dates with no makeup, and I'm like, what?
That's bold.
But like, and the man she ended up with, total hottie, 10 feet tall, finance bro. So maybe there's something to it. I don't know. She's like, I simplify it to start and then you get to see the best of me later. But like, I want to make sure you like this first. So there could be something to it. Okay. I don't know about completely like, I'm not going to like be a couch potato. Like, I don't want you to not understand who I am at all. Like I do own makeup, but like, I want you to know what I look like at all times of the day. So I don't know. I just hate that. Like, I feel like this is probably something women are doing more. And I hate that like the men are cookie jarring is how I feel. Maybe I'm old.
It's hilarious.
Like, why are we both overcompensating in the opposite direction?
Right.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I do think this is crazy. And I guess like now that I'm thinking about it too, like I never put my cool jobs on my dating app either. Cause like I was a Laker girl and like I used to have that on my profile and now
I can't imagine the messages you would receive.
Well, it's just not even that. It's just like I don't do that anymore. Yeah. So like I don't want to disappoint you and like you think you're gonna go to a game and like see me, you know, and like I'm not there anymore. So like let's like lower what we're, you know, like you know? So I do think that there is something to this. But no makeup on a first date. I'd rather jump into traffic.
I will never be that confident, actually. And I have had amazing therapists in my life, and I don't think I'll ever be there. But
no.
I don't know. Third date? I don't know.
In the dark? Yeah, if we're going to a cave. If we're going to a cave, then sure.
An escape room.
Yeah. And you're never finding me, but because I'm hiding in the escape room.
Yeah, I can't imagine no contour like meeting a man. But anyway, I mean,
no contour.
Do what you gotta do, I guess.
Absolutely. Okay, so our next story is about women allegedly drinking more these days. I thought this was interesting.
That needs to be the name of the episode. That's like, these are all the reasons we're drinking more. What? Of course we are. Help us.
Yeah. Okay, so across the U.S., women are throwing back more drinks, raising concerns about the health consequences of their alcohol consumption. So the Wall Street Journal reports that women in their 30s and 40s have increased their alcohol consumption in recent decades as their lifestyles have changed.
Yes.
So women who turned 35 between 2018 and 2019 were nearly 60% more likely to report recent binge drinking or alcohol use disorder symptoms than women who turned 35 between 1993 and 1997. Mm-hmm. So now we're reporting a little bit more drinking. And there's several reasons.
Please.
As previously stated, the cookie jar has something to do with it.
That's reasons 1 through 7. And then...
but there's a few other reasons that the Wall Street Journal cited. First of all, the women are more likely to attend college, where heavy alcohol consumption is a staple activity. They're also earning more and have more discretionary income. Fair. They have a lot of time to just hang out. Mm-hmm. And then also women are getting married and having children later in their life, or not at all. So that is extending their child-free social lives, which I totally kind of get.
I was gonna say, I actually love these reasons.
Me too.
Oh, women are living life. Like, it's not saying we're drinking more than men. It's saying like we're drinking more, i.e. like we're going outside and we have the money to buy the drinks, and we're like not having kids super early. Like, we're enjoying life longer. I don't know. I live for it, actually. I didn't know that this was going in this direction.
Yeah, it is kind of like a sweet little it's a sweet little tie into we're drinking more.
Yeah, go us. Yeah. It's up from here.
No, I do kind of agree, and I do understand this because I feel like now, like, my social activity is like, obviously I do a lot of like fun stuff too, and like hiking and fitness or whatever, but like if I'm gonna see my girls, like, we're gonna go get a drink
100%,
you know, and like that's fine. I think like I'm not drinking more. Yeah, like I don't think I'm drinking more, but I think I'm like I can drink when I want, and it doesn't feel like it's something that's hindering my existence.
Right.
So maybe that's how this all came to be.
Yeah.
Not a bad story.
No, I love it. Do invite us next time you go.
Tell us. We'll bring a drink. Okay, so this next story, the New York Times did a story this week talking about how many dates you should go on before talking about finances with your partner.
Sorry, let me stretch. I'm sorry.
So this is pretty interesting. So traditionally, people tend to obviously hold off on that discussion about money and finances, but experts actually say having the discussion about money and finances earlier to make sure you're on the same page about like, I don't know, if you're in debt or like if you have anything that we need to talk about. So there's no like earth-shattering surprises later. Do you think it's important to talk about money early in the relationship? I know I could really go either way on this.
Kinda. I think in dating, like, I think there's a difference in talking about money when dating versus like in a relationship. Because I used to say it's not really relevant till we're in a committed relationship.
Fair.
And then like in between committed relationship and marriage, we have to have those conversations.
Right.
But like dating costs money. And like I've had friends and I've experienced where it's like men think we're ridiculous for thinking like they're going to pay for all the dates, or like they want to, but they're not capable of it. Does that mean he's not good enough to date? Like, so unfortunately money matters early on. So you almost have to like level set those expectations and figure out if it's something you can live with, because I'm not signing up to be anyone's sugar mama. So I need to know if that's what you think I am up front.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's like, I just feel like, let's get it out of the way, because I don't want to fall in love with you and then find out we simply can't. We have to move to Alabama. And I love Alabama. I love it. It's just more affordable. No, I love it. But I'm just saying, like, if I have to find out later that, like, we can't be doing the things that we've been, like, dreaming about and, like, making a vision board about because our finances aren't matched.
Can I say, it's so funny you say that, and hopefully she sees this. One of my aunts is living in Alabama right now because her husband...
She lives in a mansion.
I mean, yes, it's a beautiful home, but like, she was like, if I would have known that my husband was only living here for the rest of forever, I love you. Hopefully they don't know who I'm talking about. Like, she was like, I don't know that I would have like committed to this at that point in my life. Like, I wasn't ready to be tied to Alabama forever. So it's funny that you name Alabama specifically because she said to me, like, ask questions. And at the end of the day, like, I learned that the men who don't, like, there are men who will have a conversation with you, and that doesn't mean you agree on everything, but you can dialogue. Some men can't dialogue.
Right.
And you need to know that early, too.
Oh, my God. Like, especially, like, this is totally different, but, like, even, like, kids dialogue, like, you know, where do you see yourself living? Like, those are, like, really important conversations. And honestly, I feel like the earlier you get them out, and if it's a deal breaker, you can get out before you have feelings anyways. Please so, like, have the conversation. If you're on the same page, great, keep going. If you're not, then go back to the cookie jar.
Honey, see, we keep going back and forth. Are we pro or anti cookie jar?
I don't know.
Now we're pro. Because like there was a man Teague that like just didn't do his hair sometimes. Like, you know how men like grew their hair long in the pandemic, like thinking it was like a movement. And I'm like, no, you just couldn't see your barber. It's fine.
Right.
But like, so like there would be times where he would come see me with like a messy bun. And I'm like, so what's the plan with your hair? And
yeah,
what's
like,
going on? The plan? Oh, you want me to plan my hair? So it's like, oh, like you can't dialogue. Like I'm just like saying like
we're just like I'm asking questions.
Yeah, like I don't want to take you to a steakhouse if your hair's not done. So I'm just asking like, are you ever going to do your hair again?
Yeah, like what's the TLDR on that? So what's his hair look like today?
Of course. After I already booted him out of my life, not for his hair, it was a factor, but not for his hair. He cut his hair years later, like literally this year, posted an Instagram reel about it, like did a whole like come with me. And I was
hilarious.
Disgusted. I was beside myself.
No, you can get rid of the hair, but you cannot get rid of that attitude.
I'm like, you are just... You just can't have a conversation.
So he looks better.
This. Of course. They always do when you leave
of course. Yeah. But like just remember, like he was he didn't work at the time.
That's like I can't talk to you about your hair. So like what happens if it's like, oh, the kids have to go to a new daycare or like
right. Oh, we should talk about retirement.
100%. I can't talk to you about this.
No, 100%. It is a big red flag. If you can't dialogue about your haircut, how are we gonna dialogue about pre-K?
Amen.
Okay. This next story is funny. So Slate did a feature this week about someone who was dealing with a coworker who couldn't stop talking about her son at work.
Hit me with it. Come on.
So this person wrote in and basically was saying that her coworker couldn't stop talking about her son at work. So everything that she would bring up, she'd be like, oh my God, I love bacon. And she'd be like, my son loves bacon. You know, like that type of First of all, have you ever dealt with that? Second of all, does that bother you? And how do you change it? Like, can you say like, shut up about your son? Or do you have to just like live with that? Do you have to date the son? I think that's the only solution.
Yeah. Well, show me his Instagram. But at this point, how many cookies are in his cookie jar? No. So like, has this happened to me? Yes. Yeah. Because I feel like at work, you are put around people that you would never socialize with in real life. Like your work bestie's a 98-year-old named Ralph. Like when would I have ever met Ralph outside? It's not happening. So it's like we all socialize differently. And so some people like have that one thing that like they probably should be talking to their therapist about, but they don't have a therapist. So they come to work and tell you. And depending on what it is, and if it's blocking our progress at work, I am usually situated as the coworker to be like, Jan, we love little Mikey so much, but we gotta do this. Like, do you want to grab drinks after? And like drinks are on you, because then you could talk about Mikey all day. Yeah, Jan. Yeah, but like right now. We get it.
100%.
Yeah. You know, so like sometimes like I'm usually like, if it's in the way of progress, I'll say something. If not, I'll just kind of like leave the room or like I would just stop giving it my attention.
That's so funny. I feel like I've experienced this with coworkers being obsessed with like a new boyfriend or something.
Totally.
And it's like, why is everything coming back to Jason? I can't talk about Jason anymore.
Jason.
It's like Jason has long toenails. Come on. Get original. Get another hobby except for your new boyfriend, Jason.
And then you meet Jason and you're like,
The biggest stud you've ever met.
Save it.
Keep that information about Jason.
I don't want to hear no more about Jason.
No.
I'm over Jason, babe. And Jason's nice, and I'm sorry I have this attitude towards you, Jason, 100%.
But I'm not jealous. I need you to know I'm not jealous.
I don't want Jason.
I don't want Jason, and that's not why I'm being weird. I just think he's nothing like what you described.
He's given us nothing.
No, you described him as the second coming. The Messiah.
It's like, do you watch Vanderpump Rules ever?
Yes,
it's like
course.
Sheena.
Oh, with the hanging the TV.
Yes! Wait, what's his name? Jason?
Rob. His name was Rob. Valletta or something?
Oh my, you're good.
I am good.
Oh my
I met him once.
Stop. Did he? Was he good at hanging TVs?
He was hanging TVs. He was hanging TVs. He should have made that his business model.
Yes, he missed a moment.
He did miss a moment.
He missed a moment.
He's still doing some stuff. He's like doing a vacation show or something.
Really?
I don't know.
Live your dream, King, I guess.
Live your dream, hanging TVs.
Okay.
Okay, we're almost done, but we really should talk about... we don't have to, but we could for fun.
It's up to you, really. It's
okay. I don't really want to give promotion to Amazon.
Well,
but just because the sales are going on, these big Amazon Prime days are happening, I think it's a funny discussion. Like, is there anything you stock up on during these big sales online? Like, I love a Black Friday. I will save up money
100%.
and like I will run out of my bronzer 2 weeks before Black Friday because I like am waiting to buy it on Black Friday for $4 less.
Yeah.
Is there anything you do, anything you wait to buy on sale days?
I unfortunately will always be the TV person.
Wow.
Unfortunately. I'm not saying every time I will, but like if I'm moving or like my brothers are moving, like if anyone in my immediate family is moving.
Needs a TV.
I'm like, sit in your empty place until Prime or Black Friday or something. So usually it's like for big things.
Yeah.
I think people who are like, oh, pens are on sale. I'm like, you have the $8 to like go to Office Max. Like it's not
100%.
So that's kind of how I use it.
Yeah.
Like Amazon is doing what it's doing, but like you can't refute, unfortunately, that like what would we be without it?
Literally. And in
this
this economy, like I gotta.
You have to do what's easy and available.
You gotta. Yeah, no. I stock up on like things like face masks or things that like I actually feel a little guilty about spending full price on.
Okay.
Like those cube ones that like seep into your pores. Like stuff that like I don't want to buy full price because I feel bad. But if it's on sale, then
you can get them in bulk.
I'm buying them in bulk, you know? So I feel like those are the things I like to do.
Yeah. My mom has a specific chai tea that she loves that she'll buy like 20 boxes at a time.
And you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this would help with that. Not that she wouldn't buy them because she's addicted, but like this makes her feel better about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, this was so much fun.
I loved it.
Ashley,
Thanks for having me.
Literally come back anytime.
I will. Why not?
Okay, yay. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for being here, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye, guys.